The San Antonio Spurs, of course, won the NBA draft lottery, securing the rights to select Victor Wembenyama, and what a great night in franchise history that NBA draft was. They bring in potentially the greatest prospect with the highest floor, or the highest ceiling, in NBA history. People have been painting about this in San Antonio for a while now. People have been getting haircuts with Victor Wembenyama in it, but, it could not all be just greatness. But with Coach Popovich, Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell, he's got a great young core to work with. A good, well, not young coach, but a good old coach, I guess you could say. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and leave me a comment down below if you do enjoy today's video at any point. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button because about 97% of my audience is not subscribed right now, which is kind of crazy. So make sure to just hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. Also, hit the post notifications button, as that'll help us out as well. So, can he stay healthy? That's the big question. That is, in my opinion, the hard truth about Wemby. Sure, he's a generational type prospect. Nobody's going to argue with you that. But just his body type in the past historically has not gone very well when it comes to playing a full season. He averaged 22, 10, and 2.5 assists in his first season, or I think it was his second season of professional basketball at the top series over in France. Also averaged 3 blocks. The 3-point percentage was not exactly elite, so he'll need to bring that up. But he averaged 36.5 points a game when he played those 2 games under American rules, and that's kind of crazy against the G League Ignite. The dude should break the NBA, but we have seen giants in the past not exactly be able to be durable enough to play full NBA seasons. Now, obviously, I'm hoping Victor Wembenyama is going to be able to do this because, San Antonio, they need a franchise player, and for the NBA, it'd be great. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other two, kind of notable examples, we've never seen anything like him before. Well, we saw a full season of Bobo, but before this year, Bobo had struggled a lot with injuries. And I believe he had even some before that. And then Chet Holmgren just missed the entire season with injury that he suffered in pro-ams in the summer. So both of those guys being out does not help Wemby's case for, the stereotype of not being able to stay healthy. We'll see how that changes. But, like I said, I'm pulling for Wemby. I hope he does fine. And he's been doing some interesting training workouts. If you watch the videos posted by the Spurs, we'll see though what happens with him. Now, a rising star, potentially the next Kawhi Leonard, in my opinion, could be Devin Vassell for the San Antonio Spurs. A guy who's an elite defender, averaged 18.5 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, and 3.6 assists, and, he's only going to keep getting better. He was very efficient from the field this year, shot at 44% and then 39% from 3, which is really good as well. 1.1 steals per game. So he's going to be a truly elite 3-and-D wing, and honestly, he might be the franchise player here. If Victor Wembenyama can't stay healthy, you still have a backup option of Devin Vassell, who has improved every single year, and he's going to be a guy that I'm really on the lookout for this year as a potential breakout type candidate. Although, he already averaged 19 and 4, so it'd be tough to see him as truly a breakout. But he adds about 5 or 6 points per game onto that. That'd be nice. Now the defensive potential is insane with this team. Sochan averaged 11 points and 5.3 rebounds last year. You add him to the 2 guys that we've already talked about, and my lord, Victor Wembenyama, nobody is scoring at the rim on him. Sochan, not exactly elite offensively, but on the defensive side of the ball, there's, he was definitely, without a doubt, the most intriguing defensive prospect in last year's draft. He's only going to get better. Only played about 26 minutes per game last year. So he's a guy that I am really looking forward to watching this year. I think he's going to progress, and if he can get any sort of offensive game, that makes this team so much more deadly because he can now stay on the court. The front court for the Spurs is going to be Zach Collins and Wembenyama. Collins, of course, came on strong there at the end of last year once they traded Jakob Poeltl. Collins averaged about 11.5 points and 5 rebounds during those games. Of course, not getting really too much time, but 52% from the field and 38% from 3 on over 2 attempts. Very solid for the big man. He will be a nice complementary piece to Victor Wembenyama in my opinion. I think that's going to be a nice duo in the front court. Now, a big step forward is expected from both of these guys. We're going to call Sandro Mamu. I don't know how to say his last name. We'll just call him Mamu. He averaged about 11 points and about 7 rebounds last year, so a very, very nice season from him. Very underrated. Nobody really talks about him, but he shot at 45% from the field, 34% from 3, and put up about 11 and 7 in only 23 minutes per game. So very, very solid right there. And then Malachi Branham out of Ohio State, the guy that I was decently high on him coming out of the draft last year. 11 points per game, about 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So good numbers as a rookie. 44% from the field is not terrible as a rook. 30% from 3, not great, but you see, he did put up good numbers given he was only allowed to play 24 minutes a game. Now, a guy that I think they need to extend is Tre Jones. I think he can be a nice, not a franchise point guard, but I think he can be a very serviceable starting point guard or an elite backup point guard like we've seen his brother throughout his career do. 13 points a game, 6.5 assists, 3.6 rebounds per game. Like I said, Tre, I feel like he can be a very, very serviceable starting point guard if needed. 46% from the field. Now, that three-point percentage is not good, but 1.4 steals, so he's decent on the ball defensively. I think he will, and, you can even add him into the category of Wemby and Vassell and Sochan as just elite defenders. Now, let's take a look at the starting lineups. This is what I'm thinking it's going to start out with. Some people have said Sochan is going to start at the 1. I don't really see that. I don't see him as a point guard. He can't really handle the ball that well. Maybe they run some sets through him on offense, but I'm just not seeing that right now at all. I like Vassell there at the 3, and then Wemby at the 4 with Collins at the 5. Keldon Johnson, who we haven't talked about in today's video, he is still in San Antonio at the 2. We'll see what happens with him. A lot of people have been saying he might get traded soon. I kind of doubt it, but maybe he does. Maybe they do decide it's time to move on. He doesn't really fit into their game plans. I don't know, though. I think this is a solid starting lineup, though. A good young starting 5. I don't think anybody on here is over the age of 26. Collins might be 26, actually, but still not over the age of 26. So that is a good, young, fun starting 5. And then the bench. Devontae Graham at the backup point guard. You got Malachi Branham at the backup 2, who we talked about. Devontae might get traded, but he can knock down the 3 ball and he takes care of the ball, doesn't turn it over too much. Good passer as well. I can see him as a serviceable backup point guard for a while. And then the backup 3, you have Doug McDermott, who was a solid small forward for him this year. He can catch and shoot. He is making a little bit of money, but he is an expiring contract. And then Sochan, who we talked about, and Mamu, who we talked about at the backup 4 and 5. Like I said, Sochan could start on any given night, really. But right now, we're going to keep him at the backup 5, and then Sochan at the backup 4. Sochan can really play anywhere, though, just because of his defensive abilities. And then we also have guys like Blake Wesley, who has reportedly already added 10 pounds of muscle this offseason. We'll see what happens with him, though. And then they have a whole lot of cap space. Got about $50 million to play with in cap room. Rumor has it they are very interested in bringing Jakob Poeltl back. I didn't know that was legal to sign somebody that was traded less than a year ago. But, maybe it is kind of a hole in the system maybe some other teams need to exploit. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, they have a lot of money, probably in a win-now type mode because Pop is getting up there in age. But we will see how everything pans out. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. That's kind of the truth about Victor Wembenyama. I think he's going to be elite, but I just don't know if he can stay healthy. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like the button and hit the subscribe button as well as leave me a comment down below. Everything I just mentioned will really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.